This is Travis Schwenke. Here we are at Belle Isle for the DAP for the Xtreme Motorsports Classic Series. So we'll go through Belle Isle here and find some spots that hopefully you can pick up some few tenths. So as I come down the front stretch, you can see there's these two white stamps across the track, and then there's kind of this distinguishing darker line. So I'm really trying to get to the second one of these, maybe this one as the tires warm. But you have to kind of try to late apex this. You can get on the curb a little bit, but then as I am coming off, I'm trying to hold that curb till the end of the curb to keep myself a little further inside than inside to the right of the track to make then the fast left. Because obviously, as you can see, I mean, under the track map's pretty small here, but as you come around the corner up in here, that's a long stretch, right? So I always try to look at a track backwards. You know, what are your important corners? So you can also see this straight here. This corner becomes very important, and actually this one is a setup for that one. So there's a couple places here that are very important, and this one for sure is huge leading up down that backstretch. It's really important and probably one of the trickier corners on the track. So anyway, we'll come to that when we get to it. So as I come in here, trying to hold, as I said, I hold fourth gear, trying to hold to the end of this to stay, as I said, as right as I can for the left-hander. Of course, the left-hander, I'm having to lift. I don't know if something changed or not. I think when I got this right before, I didn't have to lift as much as I feel like I'm lifting now. But you come over that crest, the car is going to get upset. I don't think there's any way around the car being a little loose through this section, so you kind of have to just be prepared and feel the car is starting to go to save it here. So come through, then I'm trying to get down here, and you got to hold this corner, and you'll see I lift here. I can't remember what my exit track point is. Yeah, it's probably close to the wall where I start tracking out and come over that crest. But you want to try to have the wheels somewhat straight. You don't want to have a lot of steering input as you come over that crest. If you do, you're pushing. So the lift and partial lift that you can see I'm doing here definitely help in getting a little bit of nose weight on the car as it slows. Back full power, then down this straight. So obviously this straight's important. I have not figured out if I'm going to use fifth gear here or not. I've just been using fourth pretty much all session. So as I come down this brake zone, I can almost make it to 300. I'm a little bit before. And on this lap, I'm going to use second gear through here. I've kind of found I can use third as well. I just have to make sure I get my braking right. Probably if I'm fighting someone or doing something down in here, I'll definitely use second, but on a clean lap, I do think third is a little better because it's kind of an awkward upshift coming out of this corner. I've missed it a couple times because you're kind of revving it out pretty quickly. The other thing on this corner is it seems like there's a couple places on the curb. You used to be able to hit this curb pretty good. Now it seems like you can hit a lot and be okay. You hit it a little bit and it really upsets the car. You can just nick it and you're fine. So I've kind of resorted to the trying to just nick it because it's hard to find that balance without upsetting the car too much. The other part is the track out. You used to be able to use the grass a little bit, but now with the new grass modeling, you can almost not even use the curb. You can use the curb on the exit, but not into too much, and don't touch the grass. It definitely slows you down and wants to pull you a little left. So I'll brake about the 300 marker, just before it. I'll get this down into second, just clipping it and getting on power and trying to, track out, use this curb. Use the curb, not the grass. Okay, now we get to the fun section here. So this is a pretty fast right-hander. It's pretty easy to replicate the speed through it, but it's one of those that you feel like, man, I can go a little faster, and then it just bites you with the wall. And of course, there's a cutout in the wall over there too that you seem to get sucked into and really damage the car. So just warning, find that nice thing. There's not a little long straight after it, so you don't lose too much time if you don't get it right. But it's important then to set up that next corner for sure. So I think I stay in third through this corner. Little bit of braking and definitely driving out of this corner. You'll be on the power pretty soon, way before the apex. So powering out, knowing that you have to get over to the right here, and I think we used to be able to make it to this red, but now with the little faster car, there's kind of a section here. Let's see if we can find it here. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Now I have to go back to my lap. Sorry, guys. We will we'll go quick. Get back up here. So yeah, I'm kind of aiming, I think, I'm trying to see where my eyes go. My eyes go to the black, kind of at the last one, so it's kind of like being at Bathurst. I use these signs a little bit more than I know. So I know I want to be able to get out here toward the end of this is my final point. And then quickly I'm going over here looking at this wall. So as soon as I know I'm good here, I'm looking over here to find where do I want to turn in for the next corner. So getting over there quickly, because you know you're going to have to brake about where this wall, you can see it kind of comes out. It has a little different angle to it. So about halfway, I think, toward that is where I'm braking. The darker is a little darker in the track it gets. But this one is definitely kind of a patience corner. It seems to fall off and kind of lure you in, but you kind of want to make sure you're late apexing it a little bit, so that you can track out toward that wall, which also comes in at you. So hopefully this is a spot that, I mean, I could see this spot breathing trouble. Hopefully the Mustangs aren't too close to here, because if you miss the turn in here, it's bad. You really have to scrub speed if you don't get this turn in right on this corner. So it's down, holding it, kind of being patient, powering out, and you can see the point you come out is pretty much where this dark spot edge is, where the wall comes towards you and then starts going away. So it's definitely an odd corner. So getting through it, still in thirds. This whole section's in third. All right, so you probably can't see this. This corner does fall off camber, and you want to late-ish apex it, and you definitely have to use every side of it because it leads to this backstretch, which is pretty long. It's hard for me to describe my braking marker because I use this wall over here, this black line, and it goes onto my third monitor. So when it goes onto my third monitor off to the side, I know about when the nose of the car, a little before it, is when it's close to where that is. So you kind of have to find your mark. I haven't looked over here to see if I can use anything. I think I've always kind of used this because my eyes are trying to track toward an apex, and I can kind of catch that in my peripheral vision. So that's what I'm using. I don't know if there's anything else up here you can find, but I'm braking, staying in third for this. Again, trying to, you have to get this turn in right because it does, as I said, it falls off. And it's real important to be patient and get as close to this as you can so you can drive out of this corner down that stretch. So we'll just be patient, get on, powering out toward the wall. It's going to get loose just because of the way it's off camber. All right, we're going to go all the way down here to the fun section. So this is another section as we come up here that I am kind of changing my mind on what I'm doing from this lap to what I started doing later in the session. So the bridge is here, and there's a couple lines across the track. Let's see if we can walk up and see those. Yeah, so you can see these lines across the track. That's about where I'm braking. When I see this blue and these lines is where I'm braking. In this I'll go to second, but I found now that I'm getting better with the brake there, I can use third. You can take a bit of this, but it's very fast out. So you can really get on the power. You get close to where the wall comes out at you again, of course. But you can get through here pretty quick, and there is a bit of time just in that corner. Of course, then you have to slam on the brakes and slow down again for the next one. So, and that's the other thing. When I was using second, it becomes an awkward second, third shift again. Another kind of awkward one on this track. So we get down here and brake. I will use second here, I said, but I am using third now. And then it's same thing. This wall comes out right there, of course, right where you're going to aim. But try to drive through this and get quickly over to the right for the next section. So over to the right. Again, wall comes out at you. But this is kind of at the top of the hill. You do your braking, you can see it falls downhill. If you don't get a little braking done before that, you kind of fly off it in a way. You don't have as much capability of normal force there on the tire. So you gotta get through here and then get to the left. This one to me is a pretty fast corner, but it's very hard to judge the entry versus, let's say, that one that was at turn 5 back here. This one, it seems like it's pretty easy to replicate. This one is a little different. It's like I'll go through it one time and I'm like, man, I can go a little faster, and then you try and you feel like you're pushing out into the wall. So thankfully, there's not a real long straight after it, but definitely it's important to get as close to this curb as you can without really upsetting the car on it too much. So as I stay in third, power out, and use all the exit you can there. So now this one, there's the varying different lines. I've kind of found if I late and get closer and let it float out and then slow down for the next one, the next part of the left-hander, it's the best for me. So there's times even where I'm pretty loose coming out of the second part where it's fine, right? I can still get the car settled, brake, and get to second gear for that sharp right-hander. So it's, mids, you don't even really have to hit it there. You're just kind of floating, but you're really kind of setting up for this one. That's the important one here. But you don't have to go all the way out for sure. And it's a lot of playing with the throttle through here. Just feeling the car if it's a little too loose, right? You don't want to stab anything. Just be smooth with your inputs through here to help the car stay settled and get ready for that sharp sharp right, which is of course the tricky one. So this obviously braking, getting to second. It's a I don't know. It's really hard to explain this corner. I think I get down to the apex here, as close to the curb as I can. Again, this is a curb you just can't hit because there's already a bump as you exit. And if you get the bump here and then that bump there, it seems to be like you've hit the suspension totally out of sequence, and you get the big bounce, and it just wants to snap oversteer on you then. So I try not to hit it and just get smooth through here and get on second gear power smoothly. If you have the wheel straight, which is kind of my strive, is to get turned there, get the wheel straight, and then I can drive out of the corner nicely. So don't touch it much. I touch it a little too much, but you can see how that just kind of upset the car, and I had to counter steer. So still, this was a good lap, but it could have been quicker without hitting that and not having to do that. So it's a second to third quick, then you're down this little straight. So these corners are pretty interesting, right? They're a combination, kind of like a triple apex corner in a way. This corner is more important than one would normally think, because it really does get you for the setup for the next one. So you have to make sure you get this one right and get far left on that exit, so that you can get the next one right. And you will carry a lot more speed into that getting this one right than you will normally. And for some reason, it seems to hold that second corner. You do have to breathe. I don't think I've ever did flat. I tried a few times and I just had to really pedal the exit then to not hit the wall. So I don't think the next one is flat, and I think it used to be. So these cars are just slightly different we had. So my braking point is about the 200, the crest of the hill. So like right at the crest is when I'm getting on the brakes, staying in third then for it. So crest of the hill, trying not to touch it, just getting close as you can. This one is just you just have to breathe through it, but you get that right and you will just pick up time down the straight. So just breathing it, not full, and then wide open through the rest. So you can see how getting the first, when you get this first one right, because the next one's so close that you can really get a lot of speed through this one, and then that speed you just hold all the way down the straight. So that's the full lap. Pit entry's fun. Make sure you test it out. I did it a couple times, but I will play this lap then back without me bantering on, and you can see if you can pick anything up tonight and enjoy your race.
Mic off. Mic on.
And of course I say that, and that's not the same lap. So let me go back here and play the correct lap for you, which is the same one I narrated. Here we go.